Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Radhika Mehes, founder and director of Support Autism TNT. Welcome to our Facebook Live series, Our Voices Tough Conversations with Autism Parents. This series aims to highlight the realities of raising a child with autism in Trinidad and Tobago, and in turn to educate and advocate for more opportunities for children with autism. It is broadcasted via Support Autism TNT's Facebook page. And today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Michael, proud dad of Brandon. Michael, welcome to our series this week. Thank you so much for, being so willing to share your experiences with us.
Sure, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So, so I want to start off, of course, by asking you to tell me about Brandon. Tell us about Brandon. What kind of things he like. Tell us about your special child.
Sure. Brandon is 10 years old, born in June of 2010. Um, he he's non-verbal, but Brandon communicates in so many other ways, even though he doesn't speak. Brandon loves drives, he loves water, he loves animals, he loves his family, and he loves cardboard boxes and bags of all things.
He's still into the boxes phase.
Yes, he loves boxes, he loves bags, love destroying them.
That, that's fine. And Mikhail, I know that Brandon was diagnosed at what age with autism?
4 years old.
Okay, and when did you start thinking that he might have developmental delays, and how did you go about getting him diagnosed? Tell us something about that.
Well, his mother was the first person who kind of got an inclination on it, in the sense that while he was coming up, he seemed to be a perfectly normal baby, in the sense that you try saying one or two words, and he identified one or two objects like cars and trucks. Actually, trucks and coke is one or two words he started saying first, and and then when he turned 3, his mother said that we had to keep an eye on what he says from now, because she have a feeling that he not progressing as a normal child would. And between the ages of 3 and 4, we kept our eyes on it. And when he turned 4, then we realized, we start asking around, what children his age were doing and saying and behaving like and whatnot. And then when we put that information together, we decided to go to Dr. Bahadur Singh, who, diagnosed him later on.
And how did you all deal with that diagnosis?
Well, the information on autism in Trinidad and Tobago is, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know why it's kept as a secret at times, especially then, 6 years back. And when you ask around, people say, don't worry, don't rush the child and all this whatnot. But when he was diagnosed, I would be dishonest if I say that I wasn't frightened to a certain degree. But we his mother and I embraced what it is we had to do. We tried to find out as much as we could have find out, and try to do for so much that we could have do for him, given the avenues we were presented, which wasn't much at all. And so we were fearful but hopeful in the same sense.
And you mentioned, Mikhail, that you all tried to find out information and it was difficult. But where did you turn to? Did you have a support system in place? Did you have people who were willing to talk to you about autism, to guide you along when it came to Brandon?
Actually, the only person at that point, when he was now diagnosed, was actually only Dr. Varusing was the only person that provided us with any sort of information on how to go about getting the necessary therapies and whatnot. He actually encouraged us to go to the Lady Ojoy home to see if we could seek any treatment there, because he knew of a speech therapist that works at the home, and there where we initially started seeking help for Brandon.
So the first therapy that Brandon accessed was speech therapy.
Yes, he only received one or two sessions, and then in all honesty, the speech therapist was next to never there. So we always used to have to reschedule until we realized that the program that school was offering was not for Brandon actually, and then we took him out of the school.
And what happened after that?
Well, we tried giving him other lessons with people different speech therapists. His mother used to carry him because I would have been in work at the time, and they keep on telling us, you can't rush him to learn because he had to learn on his own time and whatnot. So it was a string of different people trying to work with him, and well, here we are now.
What about school? Did Brandon ever attend school for any long period of time? Were you successful
No,
with that?
no, it was actually we before the school he attends now. Well, was attending before the COVID-19 season. Um, we were always told that how um either the institution isn't equipped with people to manage him because of his status on the spectrum, or the last time we tried to apply to a school in Point of View, they told us that our parents aren't allowed to be at the school, and because he's not potty trained, he won't be able to come to the school until he is potty trained.
Okay, and how long did it take you then to basically look for school? Have you been trying all this time?
Yeah, actually, that the search for school for Brandon took us about 3 years actually until
Mm.
we actually landed a school for him.
Okay, and when you did, was he starting to develop? Was he starting to learn things? How did he respond
Yes,
to being in
he
school?
was he was responding quite fine. Actually, he was more calm. He wasn't his normal restless self. He he showed little progress, but it was only because he was in school for 3 to 4 months before they had to shut down because of the COVID-19 season.
Okay. And how has he been since the shutdown? How have you been at home? How is he dealing with that?
Well, it has certain things that he enjoys that keeps him calm at times. But when those things not pulling his attention anymore, he very, rambunctious, he uneasy, he he only walking to and fro in the house. He
Mhm.
uneasy at times as though he actually misses that environment.
Yeah, he needs something to focus, to keep him focused.
Yeah.
I know that it must be very hard for you. He's not in school, he's with you all the time. Well, at home, how are you managing and what's your support system like?
Well, I'm we manage quite comfortably. When I'm at work, he's with his mom, and when I'm finished with work, I'll pick him back up and bring him back to my home. And if need be, if I should need some help, my parents always around to lend some support because he loves his grandparents as well, his aunt, his uncle, and he recently, have a cousin to play with because my sister's son now coming up, is a toddler still. And he's well supported and well loved by all his family.
So, Michael, what would you say in these past years of having Brandon being diagnosed and just trying to take care of him on an everyday basis? What are your biggest challenges, and how do you cope with those challenges?
But actually, one of the biggest challenges, to be quite honest, is the inclusion of children like Brandon in everything from, let me say, birthday parties to special functions. from birthday parties to family functions to places of worship and whatnot. People aren't really educated on these children and how they behave and what affects them in different ways and whatnot. So and inclusion for these children is what I would like to see most done. You know,
Mikhail, when you go out with Brandon and stuff, how do people react? What kind of reaction generally you get?
always uneducated ones. Why you get to know like that? You can't control the child. All these nonsense you just hear from people, but when you explain to them, he's not like other children. If you would look and see how he behaving, he's not like other children. Sometimes he's fine with crowds, and sometimes he isn't. Right? And sometimes you just have to explain to people, well, you have to excuse us. He's not like other children. And then they does understand and then be sympathetic. They just cast judgments one time. He doesn't ask a question.
It doesn't stop you from taking him out. The comments and stuff don't stop you from taking him out at all, does it?
No, 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 not at all.
Yeah. And that's the right attitude. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I think we just need to educate people. Uh,
That's right.
yeah. And on that note, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you would like to see in place for children like Brandon, and for you as parent? What are some of the things that you would like to see in place that you think would make life a little more rewarding for him as a child with autism?
So when you speak with people from away, foreign, and you get to find out what these children have there, and then they look at us here in Trinidad, where we totally don't have anything like that here for those children from a special school bus that picks them up in front of their door. People who on the bus to see about them from by the time they get them from their home to the school, in the school, and back home. These things is what we definitely need for children with autism here in Trinidad because, to my understanding, when we come to the Christmas parties that you all have and special meets and whatnot, you realize it have a lot more children in Trinidad with autism than people actually think. And I would love to see schools and centers from daycare go straight up to when these children become adolescents, being taken care of here in Trinidad in the way that it should, because children with autism here in Trinidad is the citizens of Trinidad. Nonetheless, they have to be taken care of.
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you say that they deserve every equal rights as a citizen of our country. And at some point we need to start taking them into consideration and putting things in place for them. As we close off, what would be your advice to other parents of children with autism? Because Mikhail, as you said, we at Support Autism TNT, we are seeing so many more children with autism. We are getting a lot more calls asking how to diagnose the child. We have had so much more people reaching out to us. So you're not the only parent out there who's raising a child with autism. There are so many more. And there are so many new diagnoses coming up. What would be your advice to parents, the other parents like yourself, raising a special needs child?
Well, my advice to parents who have these special needs children as well is that take your time, get to know your child, understand their likes and their dislikes. Focus on the strengths and not the weaknesses, and is a learning process daily. It's not going to be like the day before. Things going to change. You have to learn. You have to adapt, and most importantly, concentrate on your child or children that might be special needs children. You know, it's not an easy road, but the race is truly not for the swift, but for those who could endure.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Michael, because we are hoping that through having conversations like this, we can educate people about the realities of children with autism and other special needs who are living in Trinidad and Tobago. And that, at the same time, we can advocate for better, for equal opportunities for them. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. It is important to have the voices of the parents, and we really appreciate you taking the time to sit and have this discussion with me. Thank you so much. Keep up the wonderful work that you're doing with Brandon.
Thanks very much, Doc. Thanks for having me.
And to all our viewers, thank you all very much for joining us this week on this episode of Our Voices, Tough Conversations with Autism Parents. See you all again next week. Good afternoon.